Assalamualaikum everyone. My name is Rubania, AutomationWali, and welcome to Soul Talk with Rubania. Today I'm honored to have a very special guest with us, Carma Spence, and I am honored and she's a best-selling and award-winning author, publishing coach, speaker, and marketing expert with more than 30 years of experience and taught her unique author diagnostic system, and she helps entrepreneurs and professionals transform their knowledge into powerful books that build authority and creativity. Thank you so much, Karma, for joining. I really appreciate it. Welcome in Solta Kutrabania. Hi, and how are you?
I am fine. Thank you for asking. I'm glad to be here.
Okay. Okay. So, first of all, my first question is that please introduce yourself to our audience.
Well, I help established experts write, publish, and market the right book so that they grow their business through better clients, getting on stages, and working with higher quality partners.
Okay, that's great. Wonderful introduction. And Karma, my next question is that what inspired you to become an author?
Say that one more time.
Sure. My question is that I'm saying, what inspired you to become an author?
Oh my goodness. I have loved books and storytelling since I was 4 years old. I remember when I was growing up in East Africa, we were at Mombasa Beach, and my father wrote my name in the sand, and he said, "Karma, what is that word?" And so I sounded it out. When I realized it was my name, like my eyes got big, I got excited, and I've pretty much been in love with my name in print ever since. And so becoming a writer and an author was a very logical next step. I started writing short stories probably by the time I could write, which is around 4 or 5 years old. And I've just I've just loved writing ever since.
Okay, that's great. Nice. And my next question, Karma, when did you discover your love for writing?
At 4 years old. I wasn't very good at it at first, but I think probably the real seminal moment was when I was in the fourth grade. And my fourth grade teacher, Miss Proud, pulled me aside after class one day and said, "Karma, you should seriously consider a career in writing because you are good." Honestly, I still have some of the stuff I wrote in the fourth grade. I'm not sure what she was seeing. The other kids must have been a heck of a lot worse, but it was her encouragement that has held me through all the trials and tribulations because I have dyslexia, which meant that it was really hard for me to learn to read. It was Spelling has been my nemesis. I'm so thankful for spell check and software like Grammarly because really when someone reads your stuff, they're yes, there are the grammar police people, but the real people, the people who are your people, they're looking for connection. They're not looking for perfect English or perfect whatever language you're writing in. They're looking for a connection with you and the stories you tell. And that's what I've always loved sharing.
Okay, that's great. And my next question, what was your first published book about?
My first published book was Bonkers for Bunt Cakes. It
Oh,
was a cookbook that basically my grandmother used to make this rum cake that she basically got the recipe off the side of a box of cake batter. And I loved that recipe. And then I refined it, made it more rummy. Loved the rummy rum of the rum cake. And I just fell in love with bundt cakes in general. So I created all these recipes inspired by that one. And I created this book. It's like 8.5 by 11. The cover is a photograph I took of a slice of rum cake. It's slightly blurry. It's it's on a very busy plate on a very busy tablecloth. I mean, it's so kludgy. But because bundt cakes is a highly sought after keyword, it sold really well. And I did this in the early days of print on demand when a company called Lulu, which is still around, they charge you like $99 and they gave you an ISBN. And I made that $99 back within 6 months. And that was when I wasn't marketing because I didn't have a list of cooking people. It was just because I chose the right keyword. And since I found that was fairly easy, I've went on to publish more and more books since then.
Okay, nice, wonderful. And my next question, what challenge did you face in your early career?
Spelling has been a challenge. And what figuring out what I wanted to be when I grow up, sort of thing. Because as a kid, I also really loved science. In East Africa, I fell in love with archaeology and anthropology. I loved dinosaurs I think it was like kindergarten or first grade. I fell in love with dinosaurs. And so my undergrad education is actually in biology. I thought I wanted to be a biologist. But while I was going to school to become a biologist, I discovered science writing. And so I became a science writer for many years. And when I started being in business for myself, I went through so many different jobs, like careers. I tried gift baskets. I tried Mary Kay. I tried copywriting, web design, life coaching, mindset coaching. I even thought about doing public speaking, which is why I wrote this book. But it was in writing this book, um, that one, Public Speaking Superpowers, that I realized that my real love was books. The through line through it all was books. And so that's why I landed on what I do now.
Okay, that's great, nice, wonderful, Karma. And my next question, what is the author switch?
The author switch is a term I use for that's sort of like a mental switch in your mind that switches on when you decide you want to write a book. And writer's block switches it off. So it's you need to switch it on and then maintain it in the on position in order to get from, gee, I want to write a book all the way to the finish line. And what I found in my research is that of every 100 people that raise their hand and say, I want to write a book, only one makes it to the finish line. And that's because there's so many ways that the world and our own self-talk turns off that author switch. And so one of my goals in my business is to help people keep it on and know how to switch it back on when it switches off.
Oh, that's very good. And my next question, how can writing a book help entrepreneurs grow their business?
A book helps you get all the things that grow a business. A book gets you client attention. A book gets you event organizer attention, and books get you partnership attention, but only if you write the right book. A book can get you into the rooms you want to get into, and a book can precede you into the rooms that you want to get into. When it comes to getting on stages, if there are two potential speakers and one has author by their name, guess who the event organizer is going to hire? The one with author by their name. So I've talked to a lot of people that think, well, I'll write a book once I'm whatever. And the thing is, a book helps you get all those things faster. So it's sort of an amplifier. And on top of that, a book helps you codify your knowledge so that you can communicate about it more easily.
Okay, that's nice, Karma. And my next question is that what inspired you to create the Author Diagnostic System?
I created it in part because I was in a program that did that. But once I realized how powerful a diagnostic system was, I started really leaning into it because when someone comes to me, they have a problem. And they think they know what the cause of that problem is, but it's not always that. And so I've developed a series of questions and pillars and ways of getting to what is that underlying problem that is causing them not to achieve their goal. And that's what I call author diagnostic. It's how I basically diagnose their particular stop, their particular block.
Okay, nice. And my next question, what are the biggest mistake uh, first time author make?
You cut off. All I heard was what are the biggest.
Uh, Karma, I'm saying that
I didn't hear the full
the,
question.
what are the biggest mistake first time authors make?
In on entrepreneurial authors who want the book to grow their business, because depending on what you want your book to do, there are different kinds of mistakes. The mistakes I see in that particular audience is they will write the book that's audience needs. And sometimes that works. People don't always know what they need. You, as an author, need to meet them where they are. And the book needs to address top of mind problems that your ideal client has. Don't talk about the things you know they need, because they may not care until they know why. And they're not going to know why until you answer their top of mind question. So that's one of the biggest mistakes I see. People write the wrong book because they are jumping ahead of their ideal clients. And so their mistakes I see are starting too late, trying to be too perfect too fast, because sometimes you need to get through the mess in order to get to the right answer, and listening to the negative voice in their head. We all have the potential to write a good book, whether you're a good writer or not. It's really a matter of finding the right book, the right guide, and the right time for you.
Okay, that's great. Nice answer, Karma. And my next question, how can someone overcome writer block?
All right, so I have my own theory on writer's block. I believe that writer's block is caused by one of 6 different root causes. And in order to fix writer's block, once you have it, you need to understand what is your root cause. If you go out there on the internet and you look for all the fixes to writer's block, they usually are mindset issues or environmental issues. And that's not always your block. So if you try those fixes, they don't work. The 6 root causes of writer's block are mindset. Something is telling you you're not good enough. That could be imposter syndrome. Basically, you are getting in your own way. Emotional blocks, there's something emotional about what you're writing that's blocking you, and that can be either in the writing or external. So like if you've just lost a loved one, not a good time to work on your book. You are probably going to be blocked because your emotions are getting in your way. But sometimes there's something inside the book that is triggering an emotional response, and that causes you to avoid the book. The third one is environmental issues. So is the ergonomics of your setup okay? Are you doing the right lighting? Is there too much noise? Are there odd smells? I mean, there's all sorts of things that are in your environment that can cause you to block. Number 4 is physicality, physical causes. So it could, that again brings up ergonomics, or it could be health. Maybe you've started a new medication and it's making you have brain fog. Maybe you didn't get a good night's sleep. Maybe you didn't eat right. Anything that's going on with your health can cause a block. That's 4, right? Yes, that's 4. So the last 2 are what I call creative krakens. That's a glitch within the creative process. Often our subconscious knows there's something going wrong with what you're writing before you know there's something going wrong with your writing. And it'll stop you. It'll say, you don't want to go down that road because if you go down that road, things are going to break. So it just completely stops you. Or it could be a lack of skill. Like I have a short story I've been wanting to write that's a humorous. I don't have my skill set up to writing humorous yet, so I can't seem to make any progress with that story. And the last root cause of writer's block is the one that almost no one talks about. And that is something in your spiritual life. It's when you are disconnected from the divine or from your muse, that completely blocks you because God is creative. He created us to be creative. And we are disconnected from our source of creativity. We lack our own creativity. So the first thing to stop writer's block is identify which one of those root causes is causing the problem. Now, sometimes you may have more than one. You want to, if ideally you want to tackle the primary one, but sometimes that one won't budge until you tackle the tertiary or the secondary ones. But it's only until you realize what that root cause is that you can now fix that root cause and not follow advice that fixes the wrong root cause.
Okay, nice answer, and I think so. This answer for helpful writers, and thank you so much. This amazing answer. And my next question, Karma, is that what does success mean to you?
What does success mean to me? There's short-term success and there's long-term success. Short-term success is accomplishing the goals I have right now. So getting the clients, helping them reach their goals. Long-term success is legacy. Did I make the world a better place because I existed? And that is why I do everything I do. I try to be kind. I try to be helpful. I try to be useful because by doing those things, I can lift other people up so that they can make the difference that they were meant to make.
Okay, nice. And my next question is that which achievement are you most proud of?
Oh, I would say it was Public Speaking Superpowers. That book took 8 years of my life. I interviewed almost 100 people to get the information for that book. It is a darn good book. It may not have been the right book for my business, but it was a book that needed to exist. And from the conversations I've had with people who've read the book, it has made a difference in their life. And that is very gratifying.
Okay, that's great. And my next question, how do you stay motivated during difficult times?
Well, I usually have a pity party first, and then I pick up myself up and I bootstrap. Um, how do I say? I keep my eyes on the prize, so to speak. It's like life is full of ups and downs. We're all walking through the valley of the shadow of death. It's like this world can be very dark sometimes, but there's a light at the end of the tunnel. And when you keep your eyes on the things you want and on that light at the end of the tunnel, you are more likely to make it. It's like The more you appreciate, the more you have to appreciate.
Okay. Okay, so Karma, my next question is this. Um, which of your book is closest to your heart and why?
There's two of them actually. Public speaking superpowers, because that taught me the things I needed to know to do what I'm doing today. And the second one is my last book, which was Serve Up Your Book. And that shares my philosophy and my methodology for marketing a book through all 5 phases of the author's journey. Because book marketing starts before you write word one, and it goes on well beyond the launch. And that book basically pulls together all the things I know about marketing on a foundational level so that the people who read it can better market their current book and their next book. Plus, I really love the metaphor I used. I talk about the book marketing buffet, and the whole book uses a food motif.
Nice. Okay, so my next question is that how do you like no, what is your writing process like?
It changes with every book. I'm working on a book now that's all about ethical AI for authors. And I'm actually using my own road trip to authority framework to do it. So I'm still in the pre-writing phase where I'm identifying what topics I want to cover and what order and what organization. I often use like sticky notes, or sometimes I'll type all my ideas into a document, print the document out, cut them out into little pieces of paper. That's how I wrote this one, Public Speaking Superpowers. I like literally had all my notes, reams of it, cut it into little pieces of paper, organized the pieces of paper into piles, and then wrote from each pile. So that's often my go-to, but sometimes I just sit down and write. There's another book I'm working on called Whale Falls, which is about finding the blessings in sorrow, that was inspired by the death of my little sister. And that was a little harder because there's an emotional block attached to it because it brings up a lot of emotion. But the pieces I've written of it, I literally just sat down and poured forth my thoughts, my ideas, and my heart. So it really just depends on my mood, the book. And I like to experiment with new. If I learn something new, I'll sometimes give that a try too.
Okay, so okay, uh, that's great. A very nice answer. And my next question is that what qualities make a great author?
Tenacity. That's probably the number one. You don't, when you fall down, you get back up. Another good quality for an author is having at least a bit of a marketing mindset, because books don't sell themselves. You have to sell them, and other people aren't going to sell them for you. A lot of people I've talked to, they want a big publisher to publish them, or because they think that publisher will market them. Not really. As the author, you are always the number one marketer of your book. And therefore, you need to at least know the basics of how to do that. So, tenacity and some marketing chops. The writing, if you're not a great writer, that's what editors are for.
Okay, nice. And my next question, how do you enjoy doing when you are not working?
Say that one more time.
Sure. I'm saying that what do you enjoy doing when you are not working?
Well, I enjoy spending time with my husband, and I enjoy spending time with my cat. My husband and I are big science fiction fans, and we've got a standing date every Saturday night with a TV show called Svengoolie. He's a horror host that is aired on a MeTV channel. He tends to show like classic horror, like Dracula, Frankenstein, The Mummy, The Creature from the Black Lagoon. Um, he's getting a little bit up in age, so he's got what he's called the Sven Squad. Now they have a show once a month where they show more modern movies. The last one they showed was Rosemary's Baby, which was interesting because I was very young when that came out and it terrified me. It's a little bit easier to take when you're older. But we do lots of geeky things together. We for a while there we had a geeky podcast we did together, and I also love to cook.
Okay, that's nice. And my next question, what final message would you like to share with the aspiring authors around the world?
If you've got a book on your mind or your heart, then you have what it takes to get that book out into the world. Don't let anyone tell you no. Don't let anyone rain on your parade. This is your parade, and you can do this. Don't let anyone stop you.
Okay, that's great. A nice message. And thank you so much, Karma, for joining and us today and sharing your inspiring journey, valuable insight, and wonderful advice. Your experience have shown us that knowledge become even more powerful and when it is started with the world through writing and publishing. Thank you so much for everyone who listening this episode of Contact Rubania. If you enjoyed today's conversation, don't forget to like, share, and follow up for more inspiring interviews. Until next time, keep learning, keep growing, and keep living in your dream. Allah Hafiz everyone. Allah Hafiz. Karma, thank you so much.
You're sure thing. Bye bye.
Bye.